I'm going to do a quick little guess my number game to go over some of the basics of programming, input, output, using variables, having an if statement and a while loop as well. So I'm going to start in Python idle, make a new file, and straight away I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it in my D drive, and I'm going to call it guess underscore my underscore number, and that will be a .py file. The computer is going to pick a random number, so I'm going to start with an import. So whenever we use random numbers, we need to start with that line, first line of your program. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the computer to choose a random number, and I'm going to put that random number into this variable called compnum, computer number, and it's going to be random dot. It's not always easy to remember exactly what to do, so what I've done is I have done a very quick Google search, Python random. It's come up with this, and it tells me all the things I can do with random, and I happen to know that randint is what I want to use. You return a random number between 3 and 9, that's their example there. So I'm going to go straight to my program, and I'm going to say random.randint 1 to 10. So that's pretty normal for programming, is, the minor details of it, what's the exact random function I'm going to use here and all that. So it needs to be looked up, so you'd expect to do that. So that's the computer number. I'm also going to have the user make a guess, and it's going to be an input statement. Input, what's your guess? Now, just one thing. The program that I'm going to write here is going to have the user will have 3 guesses. But we don't write the program top to bottom all in one go. We try and write the simplest thing that we can then run. And in this case, I've written something that will run. I'm also going to make it do it with one guess, and I'm going to do a bit of testing and make sure that works. So if I save this now and hit F5 to run, it says, what's my guess? For, hey look, it ran. Hasn't done much yet, but at least there's no errors. So that having written 3 lines and then running the program, that's about normal. You'd normally write a very small amount of code and then just test it immediately. Now I'm also going to do a little bit of a cheat here. I'm going to put a print statement in comp num, and so I can see that what number the computer has chosen. So run that. It says the computer's guess is 1. I'm going to guess the same. Haven't done anything yet. So that's pretty common as well. Obviously I'll take this out for the final version of the program, but while I'm doing all my testing, it's going to be really helpful if I know what the computer number was. So what I now want to do is check, was my number the same as the computer number? So I'm going to say if comp underscore num is the same as, so equals is how you have to do comparing 2 numbers. It's the same in pretty much all programming languages. Put a colon, hit enter, it automatically does the indentation that Python needs. So this line only will run now if that if statement comes out as true. And I'm just going to do a print statement, which is going to be U1. How exciting is that? I've got a feeling this will fail. Let's try it. So computer number is 9. I'm going to guess 9. It didn't work, did it? So even though I knew that the computer had put in 9 and I put in 9, it didn't think they're the same thing. The reason for that is this input statement. That input, when you type something in, is automatically text. It's stored in this variable as text. So even though it looks like a 9 that I typed in here, is actually the letter 9, not the number 9. Whereas the computer number came up as being a random integer and is actually a number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line here that does int. This is really common. If you're getting a numerical input from the user, you put an int around their input, that it will take the text of 9 and turn it into a number 9. So let's just try that, and F5 to run it. So what's my guess? I'm going to guess 6 because that's the right answer. So I won. How exciting is that? And I'm going to run it one more time. I'm going to guess it wrong this time. Oops. That's 5, yeah. And my guess is, the computer number is 3. My guess is 4. It didn't say you won. So it's now working correctly. And then I can put in things like if comp num is greater than user num, then print too low. And I'm just going to be a little bit cunning here and do some copy and paste. Oops. See, when you copy and paste, it often gets the indentation wrong when you need to fix that straight away, but that's no big deal. So less than too high. And I can do some testing on this, might as well, while I'm here. So my guess for 1, 5, too high, etc. I'm pretty sure this is right. So I've got one guess now and it's working perfectly. Input my guess, and it will tell me if I won, I was too low or too high. Pretty rubbish game though. I'm going to do it as a 3 guesses. In fact, I'm going to make it infinite guesses to begin with. So I'm going to put a line here that says while true. Actually, I'm going to make it while 1 equals 1. 1 is always equal to 1. Just the same as writing while true. This is an infinite loop that will go forever. And basically everything that is indented after that loop is going to say, go down, do that line, all of these down here, and then come back and do this again. So obviously this isn't ideal, but it's would run it and check that it works as it's supposed to. So what's my guess? The computer number is 9, so I'm going to go with 4, too low, 10, too high, 9, you won. But it's still asking me my guesses and so on. So Control C to break out of that. Back to the program. I am going to cheat here and I'm just going to put a break. Break breaks me out of the loop. And we'll see what I mean by that. You'll notice the indentation that I've put here. I've put the print statement right back on this first level of indentation. This is now after the loop. So when this loop finishes, and this is going to break out of the loop and finish, if we get to this point, it will go down to the next line along, which is that print game over. So 1, let's try 5, just check it's still working. Yeah, too high. How about 1? You won, game over. Awesome. And then the last thing is to make it only have 3 guesses. And you know what? I'm going to leave that for you to see if you can do it.